Welcome to LITE It Up, a podcast about resilient women balancing motherhood, their careers, personal lives, and all of the challenges that come along with being a superwoman. Each week, you'll be motivated to take action to lead, inspire, transform, and empower. Now, here's your host, Dr. Aginah M. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of LITE It Up. I am your host, Dr. Aginah M. So excited about this week's episode because we're going to be talking about mentoring. And you all know that mentorship is very important to me. And I have a very special guest joining us today, Miss Jennifer Hammond, who is the Executive Director of I Am B.E.A.U.T.I.F.U.L. Welcome to LITE It Up, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Yes, I'm so excited because you were actually just named the executive director of I Am B.E.A.U.T.I.F.U.L, but you have a history with the organization. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself, your background? I know you're a native of Chicago, but you're in Georgia right now. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started talking about I Am B.E.A.U.T.I.F.U.L?
Right, thank you. So yes, I am a native of Chicago and currently a transplanted peach. So I grew up on the south side of Chicago, a product originally of Chicago Public Schools. I graduated from Gillespie in 8th grade, 1984, and went on to Morgan Park Academy. And from there, I actually came to Georgia and went to Clark Atlanta University, where I got my undergraduate degree in film. But I returned home and then completed 2 master's degrees in education and started working for Chicago Public Schools. That's where I got into education as a classroom teacher and then eventually an administrator in Joliet Public Schools. So I always had some affinity with working with children and educating people to become lifelong learners. And I just really, really enjoyed it. And at some point after I had my child, realized, he probably is going to be in the film business because his nickname is Mr. Entertainment. And so that's when I thought maybe I should go back and do something in entertainment as well. I've always brought that element into the classroom. Whether it was creative writing or filming a project that I had my students work on. So I still had that passion as well. So we moved to Georgia in 2015. And I actually went back in the classroom. It was more convenient for me having a young child, being a single parent. Mm-hmm. And so I actually just sought out programs like certification programs or something to refresh my memory and my skills in the entertainment industry, and found some wonderful programs and did those programs and started working, doing some light work in the film industry as I was guiding his career in acting at the time. And so, at some point I decided, I do miss working with children, did go back to doing some part-time work in education, but I also wanted to mentor because I was seeing too many news reports about things that were happening with girls, and they were negative reports. Mm-hmm. And so I sought out something in my community where I knew it was convenient for me to get to. We're busy moms. We're always trying to get here to there. Like maybe there's something nearby that I can help out with and lend my talents. And one Google search, and here it was, I Am B.E.A.U.T.I.F.U.L, was in a neighboring town, wasn't far to get to. I felt that their mission and vision was in line with my mission and vision. Talked to some wonderful people before I came on board. And then I started working, I started mentoring the program. They asked if I could be mentor coordinator. And so I started doing that right away. And fast forward to the pandemic, as I had some time on my hands and they needed some help administratively. Mm-hmm. I lent my talents to writing grants. Then they asked me soon after, would you like to be the assistant director? We really need some help right now as we're doing this transition of being virtual. Because normally we were just in the Southeast, we'd had a couple of other chapters in other areas, but we were predominantly in the Southeast because the founders, Dr. Tina Woodard and Dr. Zenobia Edwards, are from South Carolina. And so one still lives there, one lives here. So we had those two chapters, but we were, knowing we were going to expand once we became virtual. And so soon after, Dr. Woodard said, I've been doing this for a while. I've been wearing more than one hat, as she has her own business. And she said, I really would like to hand the executive directorship off to you. And what do you think about that? And so we talked about it. And she said, I feel like you've already had your training because you've been doing a lot of the work that needed to be done in just 8 short months. And so one day shy of my 2-year anniversary with the organization, I officially became the executive director. And so here I am.
Now that's pretty impressive. That really is. Now I'm curious. I just kind of want to go back just a little bit.
Okay.
What made you decide to transition from having, earning a degree in film and having that passion and background to transitioning to education?
Well, I would say that it wasn't by choice initially.
Okay.
When I came back home, I thought, this is pre-Google and pre-social media. I thought that I would be able to get some type of entry-level position at, one of the news stations or one of the talk shows, because at that time, Oprah, of course, was queen,
Right.
filming in Chicago. And so I just thought, I just send out my resume and just, do that and I get in and no problem. And it was harder than I thought, really didn't have a lot of connections in that area in Chicago. But I did have plenty of connections, as we all do, in the school system. They always say, if you want a job, go get a job in the schools or the post office. Well, my connections were mostly in schools. I had an aunt that was working in the building as a clerk and said, we always need subs. Can you come over and sub while you're, figuring out? And I was figuring out my master's program, how I was going to do that. Was going to go into a film master's program. And I started teaching. Everyone's like, you're really, really good. Well, I had always taught the kids at summer camp or vacation Bible school or whatever. So I kind of knew how to do that. And just, it just came naturally to me. So I, said, okay, well, I'll just get a certification to be a teacher. And then that'll pay for me to go get a master's in film school. And one thing led to another. I really just started liking what I was doing. Then I started loving what I was doing. So I went on to DePaul to get a master's in education, and then St. Xavier to get my master's in education administration.
Okay. Okay. Because, I also have a history as CPS, and it's just interesting how, you start off on one path and then you find yourself in another area. And actually, I started out I earned a degree in criminal justice. The plan was to go to law school, which I did do that. But I realized that I had a passion for education because I was involved with a mentoring program when I was an undergraduate student at UIC, and the rest was history. I got a master's in education. So it's just very interesting how, we can end up on a certain path. Not necessarily by our own plan, but I like to think higher,
Right. And from time to time, we get to incorporate all those things. And I always tell our girls, we are more than one thing. So don't limit yourselves to, I want to do this, and you stay on that path. There's always a way or path that you can create for yourself and to incorporate everything that you're passionate about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with I Am Beautiful, when I know you mentioned that it's based in the Southeast and you all have a couple of chapters, and it was founded by 2 sisters, both who have an earned doctorate, right? And they, I forgive me because I don't have their names in front of me, so I don't want to take away from them. But when was I Am Beautiful founded and established?
So Dr. Woodard and Dr. Edwards, biological sisters, both raised by educators, and Dr. Woodard has her own HR company, and she does a lot of coaching, professional career coaching, and Dr. Edwards is a principal in South Carolina. And so back in 2003, about 2004, Dr. Woodard was teaching a class at her church, And of course, she felt these girls were supported. They were at church. They have their church family. They're the biological family. They're supported. They know who they are. And so just as a question, just thought, was just, I just asked this question. Of course, they're all going to answer and we'll just move on. How many of you, know you're beautiful? And none of them raised their hands. And
Wow.
so that really took her aback. She decided at that point, she reached out to her sister, and she told her the story and, what can we do? And so she decided to do like this workshop with the girls and teaching them how they're beautiful and showing them images of themselves in public images of women who look like them, which they didn't normally see because, women of color are underrepresented in the media. And so she decided to do that. And then there was a conference and then there was a speaking engagement and one thing led to another. She thought these were all one-time things that she would do to help out, but it turned out that it was needed on a bigger scale, was needed in a wider area to reach more girls. And so we were established here in Georgia in 2004, September 2004. So our birthday is coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
17 years.
Yes, yes, yes. Established here in Gwinnett County, Georgia. And again, there's a chapter in the Florence area. And so pre-pandemic, the girls would go back and forth and we would take advantage of things that they could do in both areas, just a quick 4-hour trip back and forth. Have had some other people reach out over the years and wanted to do their own version of what we were doing. So we would train them and license them in this curriculum that the sisters have written. And it's an award-winning program, award-winning curriculum. And so, as many grassroots organizations, 99% fueled by volunteers, and sometimes volunteers take on something and they're not able to see it all the way through or stay with it if they don't have the support they need. So some of those chapters have disbanded. But again, with the pandemic, some things came that were, I guess, a blessing. And in light of all of the other horrible things that have happened during the pandemic, we were able to reach more girls because we were virtual. And so we've had girls all the way from Nevada to New York.
Wow, that's great. Something that came to mind when you were talking about the fact that these young girls who were part of the Bible study program didn't realize or didn't raise their hand when the question was asked, how many, believe that they're beautiful. And the fact that, they came from what one would consider, good family structure background. So often I think when people think of mentoring programs or mentorship, they may only think that youth who don't have access to certain resources are the ones who can benefit or who need mentoring, when in actuality, everyone can benefit from mentoring and mentorship. Why do you think it is important in particular for us to try to have programs available for our young girls?
Wow, because I've worked in the school system so long, and I know you've seen it, that social media and advanced technology and things that are happening today just perpetuate what's happening. Because back in 2004, when she asked that question, it was an issue. And so just think about what they're seeing now. They might be seeing themselves now, but they're not seeing themselves in a positive way. Yeah. So it went from not seeing yourself at all or rarely seeing yourself to seeing yourself, but not in a positive light. So we bring something positive to them. We bring self-esteem, empowerment. This is who you are, and this is how you were made, and you were wonderfully and fearfully made, because we do insert scripture into our program to uplift the girls. And just to know that there is nothing wrong with who you are because you're unique. And that's one of our beautiful 9 words. We're all unique. We're all made differently, but the way we were made was fine. And so we really have to let them understand that. And so we start off with our first book and we teach them the 9 beautiful words and why these words are so important and how they can relate to these words, but most importantly, how they can live a beautiful life. And so absolutely, we serve girls from every walk of life. And so it's not, and I think some people do have the impression that girls in underserved communities are the only girls that we serve or need that service. And it is not. A lot of times we have parents who are very high in their professions and they're very busy. And that sometimes is a misstep in their parenting. We all have that and say, well, I did, and just let's go back and you try to have those conversations with your children because you don't know. And again, they spend a lot of time with their peers and they spend a lot of time on social media expressing themselves. And sometimes that conversation is lost in the home. So we just try to make sure that we give the girls that time with us to be very candid about what they are feeling and what they're seeing in their peer groups. And so we can address that. We use our curriculum, of course, as a base, but if those conversations go in other ways, we've trained our mentors to address those conversations, but to always bring it back to make sure the girls are empowered and also feel that they can advocate for themselves, because that's very important as well.
That's wonderful because, as a parent of 2 teenage daughters, I know I've certainly looked for mentoring programs because I like to find opportunities for other people to positively reinforce what I'm teaching and what I'm trying to instill,
Right.
because sometimes our children need to hear messages from other people
People.
because they'll be more receptive, especially if that person is reiterating what's being taught at home. Then they're,
Mhm.
they're more inclined to say, okay, maybe
Right.
there's some truth,
Mhm.
to this. So it's also
Exactly.
a way to reinforce, because I think we have, in a lot of ways, whether it's due to the media, just with the fast paced lives that we all lead right now, in a lot of ways, we've gotten away from the village, which is
Right.
the reason why we have, so many issues with our youth. So we've got to, go back to creating those incubators, so to speak,
Mhm.
which, in my opinion, I believe would be, those mentoring programs that are available. So during the pandemic, you all obviously had to pivot because you couldn't meet in person anymore because we were all on lockdown.
Right.
How challenging was that to kind of transition from in-person programming and activities to then online? And what do you believe were the benefits or have been the benefits to that pivot that the organization had to make?
Yeah, well, I think I know that the idea had always been tossed around about how could we reach more people or more girls. And so the talk of being virtual had actually um, come up before. And
Mhm.
so we were forced into it with the pandemic. And so we kind of gave it a mini trial the summer of 2020. We did a 4-day mini camp to see if we could get any girls. And it was a great response. And we did get girls from all over the country. And so we decided, you know what, when our fall program comes back, we'll just modify it a little bit because normally we run concurrent with the school year and we go all the way from the beginning of the school year to almost to the end. So about late spring, because here in Georgia, we start school early August and we end in late May.
Mhm.
So what we decided to do is to break it in 2 semesters. And so we did the first time we did 12 weeks. And so we decided, let's just take our curriculum and have someone put it in a PDF form. We could send it to the girls. I think originally we did mail a few
Mhm.
because we were wondering, will they have computers? Will they have internet access? And so a lot of them did because that's where their schools were going. So they did have the access. And so we were able to do that for them. And if they didn't, some of them were able to get in on their phones and we sent them the book. So it was pretty easy initially that, we were able to do that. And we really haven't had any issues with girls who didn't have access. And I think that's probably part of what has happened during the pandemic, more access has become available because the children were learning at home. I think the benefit is that we got girls from all over the country. And so our girls were exposed to girls in other places. I know as recently as the spring when we did our program, I was still mentoring the K-5 girls, and I had a great good deal of girls from Colorado. And it was just so interesting to have conversations with them, with our girls from the East Coast, because at one point, I think we were probably in April, and they were talking about coming home through the snowstorm. And our girls on the East Coast were just so amazed about, wow, it's snowing. And so just having those conversations about where they are and what's around them, just waiting for the girls to come on and log in. We just had those quick conversations and making small talk, but that small talk was very, very crucial to learning about other areas of the country and where they were. And also, in addition, we decided to do Beautiful Buddies, which is pairing up the girls with one another so they have peer support. So they were able to talk to someone else who may not necessarily be in their community. But again, even if they were in the community, they weren't seeing them because we were, again, on lockdown. So I think it benefited not only us as an organization being able to get our word out and expand our platform, but also to have those girls talk across the country. Back in the day, I had a peer, a pen pal in another state, and then eventually we lost touch. But we're hoping these girls, the way we pair them up and with technology, that they're able to become lifelong friends and develop a sisterhood. So that's an advantage in itself for them as well.
Now, what's the age range for girls to participate in I Am Beautiful?
So we take girls from kindergarten to 12th grade. So usually our youngest is 6, so we say 6 to 18. We have had on occasion girls who are 5, 5.5, or definitely have some experience. I would say in a classroom setting or computer classroom setting where they can follow along in the conversation and can follow along with the curriculum. And be engaged. So that's the age range that we have. We've had women's programs in the past, and so hopefully with everything that's happening now with our transition, we will get back on that path. Because I do have a lot of parents who reach out to me to enroll their daughters, but they also ask, is there anything that I can be involved in, because I didn't have very good self-esteem, and for them that issue was never solved. So that's what I'm looking at bringing back right now, because we want to empower all women.
Right, absolutely. Now, as far as programming is concerned, you guys are preparing to launch your fall series of programs. So when does that start, and what type of programs are being offered?
So our fall program starts September 20th, the week of September 20th. We're so excited, and we do have our 3 groups in place. So we have our K-5 girls, Beautiful Beginnings, our middle school girls, Beautiful Bridges, and our high school girls, Beautiful Beacons. And we have mentors who have come on board. We have some of our seasoned mentors are still with us. We have new mentors, and you're hearing this here first. We also have a partnership with Girls Who Code from Clark Atlanta University, my alma mater. I did reach out to them, and they were more than excited to have someone reach out to them. They said, we code and we do those things, but we would love to mentor girls. So we've always had a STEM component with our curriculum and with our program. So having Girls Who Code come in and be a part of our mentoring program, and then also lending their expertise and their skills, is just going to make this fall dynamic. And so we can't wait. It's our regular 10-week virtual program for September. It'll be ending in early December. And it's great. We'll be using our award-winning curriculum, again, our carefully trained mentors, and just the thought, the mindset that we're empowering girls, and this message and what we're doing will be well received.
Now, what does beautiful is actually an acronym, right?
Yes, it is brave, energetic, assertive, unique, tenacious, important, fabulous, unequaled, and loved.
I love it.
Yes. So we teach the girls that right on, from the beginning, these are the 9 beautiful words. This is what our program is based on. We have our own theme song, and we play our theme song at the beginning of everything that we do. And the girls love it and the parents love it. And it's a catchy little tune that you get stuck in your head, but it has very impactful words. I'm strong enough. I am enough. So it's just everything just fits, just gels together in order for us to deliver this impactful and quite necessary curriculum and program.
That's absolutely wonderful. So since you all are virtual, then of course it's open. So even if you're in the Chicagoland area, if you're in LA, wherever,
Absolutely.
you should be able to have your daughters get involved. What's the process for, well, where can they find you in order to register or get more information about participating in the 10-week series?
Absolutely, no matter where you are. And our programs are in the early evening. So because we do know we have West Coast girls. So yes, our beautiful beginnings log in at 6:30, and then our middle school bridges and high school beacons at 7 o'clock. So those East Coast times. And you can find all the information for all the program dates on www.iambeautiful.org. We have parent orientation coming up the week before our program starts. Registration link is there. And everything that you need is there, and you can't find it, of course, you can always email us at info@iambeautiful.org.
And I heard you mention, which this is always important, and I'm going to say this as a parent who has placed my children in mentoring programs. You know, when you mentioned that parents have asked, how can they get involved? What ways can they support the program? So are there different ways in which parents can support if they want to just help build the program, get the word out? Because, you know, oftentimes sometimes you can have parents who will just drop their children off, even though in this case it's virtual. But if parents are interested in truly connecting and being finding ways to support, what are some of the ways in which your parents have, gotten involved?
Right. So absolutely encourage your daughter to log in her time and be there in front of the computer engaged. So reiterate everything that we go through in the parent orientation. But yes, we have the Parent Care Network. And so that auxiliary of our program is parents of participants who do fundraising on our behalf. They do advertising and marketing on our behalf and just get the word out about the program. And they normally, pre-pandemic, would come together on the days that we were with the girls and have their own meetings, and then figure out ways to be supportive of us. And so virtually, they've met virtually. They do have their own Facebook private group. And so they talk about ways to support the program. So yes, the Parent Care Network for I Am Beautiful is one way that parents stay involved and support us as an organization.
That's great. Do you guys have any? I know you probably can't tell us too much, but I'm really excited about the fact that you all are collaborating with Girls Who Code. But do you all try to collaborate with any other organizations just for additional exposure or opportunities for the girls to connect with other groups? Is there
Oh, yes.
works for that?
Yeah, absolutely. In the past, we've actually had a conference with other mentoring groups, other girl mentoring groups in the area. And so that's something that maybe we can bring back as well, once we can all go back in person and gather safely. But of course, we've had relationships with many universities in Georgia as well as South Carolina. So when it has been time to take the girls on college trips, for those girls in high school who are looking to do that, we've taken them to Clemson University, Georgia Tech, University of Georgia, and we do have a relationship with the Georgia Tech Research Institute, as one of our board members works there and has had the girls come and do robotics projects. And so, yeah, over the years, we've had established many relationships and partnerships, and Nothing is different now. I know everyone is just coming out of, trying to figure out where do I go next and who do I partner with so we can be stronger as a country. And so I would just encourage them to look for the grassroots organization. I've heard some of the bigger nonprofits talk about how they've benefited monetarily and with sponsors and donors and partnerships. But our grassroots organizations, we need you as well. So, there's so much more we could do if we had those partnerships and those sponsorships, because again, we impact girls all over the country.
You have, I guess you've just done a great job explaining the program and just the opportunities that are available for young girls. And like I stated, I really love the fact that you guys are collaborating with Girls Who Code. I think that's absolutely awesome. Can you just reiterate? Because I want to make sure that parents who are listening, take advantage of this opportunity to expose their girls to a really great mentoring program. So I want you to just kind of reiterate, when does the 10-week fall session begin? When do they need to register by? Where do they go to register? And I know with any, program that is providing a wealth of information and resources, of course, is there a fee for it?
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for clarifying that. Yes, I've been looking for other programs in our area, and we all have to charge a fee. Unfortunately, this is the day and time we're in, and again, if we're grassroots, so our program has been appraised well into the high 200s, if not 300s, because of what we offer. But because we are online, we have lowered our fee. There's a fee for returning girls as well as new girls. So all that information is on our website, www.IamBeautiful.org. And all the dates of the program, we start September 20th, the week of September 20th. So check your date for your daughter's age and what group she would be in, and then it'll tell you on there what day of the week they meet, because we meet on weeknights. And again, there's a parent orientation the week before. That information is there as well. And it's a quick registration process. It shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to register. You'll get your receipt saying that you've registered, and then we'll reach out to you to let you know and give you the Zoom link, as we all know, we are all on alert for those Zoom links when they come in now for the parent orientation. But yes, it's a 10-week program. Again, we start the week of September 20th, and our last week will be the week of December 6th. However, we do have an awards recognition ceremony on the Friday, December 10th, because we always recognize the girls, and we want them to have that time to reflect, and they can invite their families to the Zoom, and they can see everything that they've learned, how they've been empowered, what skills they've learned. And again, also those workshops that are so important. We have Saturday morning workshops, and they've been scheduled, and we are so happy to partner with My Style Matters, and they'll be doing Mom and Me breast health. Yes, that's going to be a 2-part that starts on, I believe the date is October 2nd. Don't quote me on that, but it is on the website. It is a Saturday morning, and that is going to be fabulous because it will be kicking off Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We'll be partnering with Tia Tomlinson, who is a 2-time breast cancer survivor, and she does this wonderful workshop for girls and for women, and sometimes she does combine it for both. And so we're so privileged to have her to combine it for both. So we're making ours a Mom and Me breast health. And so we'll be talking about important issues about preventative care, as well as having those conversations within your family, because family history is so important when it comes to being diagnosing early, if that's the case. Right. And so then she'll come back later the next month and do a spa night, and we'll be making not healthcare, but body products. So like body scrubs and body lotion. And those are things that she finds when she needs to do a lifestyle change in order to, on her journey to better health. So we'll be doing those things. And I've done one of her workshops before. I made a scrub, and it is just wonderful. So these are natural scrubs. So she'll be doing that. We also have someone coming in who will be teaching the girls about online trading and investing. We have our art, also art workshop one Saturday morning. So we have a lot of things planned for our Saturday mornings, and there's the one spa Friday night. And so there's so many things that the girls get in this program, not just coming to the Zoom on a weeknight and talking to some other girls and mentors. There's a lot that happens, and we've heard from the girls and their parents after the workshops, and they just can't say enough good things. Even girls who were kind of skeptical, I don't want to do this. My mom signed me up. And those are the girls who, when we ask, is there anybody who wants to speak at our awards recognition, they go, I want to talk. I want to tell you. One of our girls spoke so eloquently at our spring awards recognition that we took her words and with her permission and put them in a beautiful framing and put them on our Instagram. And by the way, follow us on Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram, and Twitter at I Am Beautiful Inc. And you can see some of the things we've had. We've had January, we had a vision board party. So we try to set the girls on, setting goals early in the year, as most of us do. So
Mhm.
there's so many things you can see. We in person, we've taken care of a community garden here in the DeKalb County area. We've reached out and worked with nursing homes, and we always have a service project, and we've been able to do that actually virtually as well. We did do some virtual Mother's Day cards for citizens of residents rather of one of the assistant facility places here. And so just, doing all that we can. We've even done before in the pandemic, put together baskets and taking those to the missions and the homeless shelters. So we're not only teaching girls about being empowered and leadership, but also giving back. So that component is part of our program and still remains part of our program, even virtually.
Well, I am so excited about all of the things that you guys have coming up and all of the things that you are doing. And I'm really happy I had an opportunity to talk to you. Just absolutely wonderful program that you
Thank you.
have. This is
Thank
awesome. Absolutely awesome. Um, before we close, I'm just curious to know, in your new role as executive director, I know, everything's moving fast paced right now, but where do you see, for the short term goals? I won't ask you about the long term goals right now. I won't put you on the spot, but what goals have you set for, in terms of your role as executive director, as far as where you plan to help lead I Am Beautiful Inc.?
Yeah, so these are the things that keep me up at 3 o'clock or wake me up at 3 o'clock with this renewed energy about, wow, this is something we could do. One, first of all, expand our board membership, because I'm a believer the board always is the way that we as an organization can have a bigger network.
Mhm.
And so I'm bringing on new board members that some have even reached out to us, not just so much recruiting, but reached out to us because they've been able to see think great things that we do, and they want to be able to help. So bringing in the board membership and expanding our network so we can expand our programs. And one of those programs would be adding a college women's component, because we have girls, again, when they finish our program at 18, we're able to keep up with them. But as our program grows, we've got more girls who are of that age group and who are going off to college and post high school activities. And we want to be able to keep up with them and have some kind of alumni group, as well as just empowering college women wherever they are, whoever they are in their career paths, and probably something like a mentor program with a company or several companies where we can have them set on their career path, internships, and just so many programs that would benefit them. And again, bringing back our women's coaching career and wherever they may be in life and whatever skills they might need. Plenty of people during the pandemic found they had other skills or skills that they had put to the side because they were doing something, because they were simply going to work. But now they figure, I have these skills and these other things and this passion. And how do I do that as well? So, bringing people in to help them and guide them in that way, where they can figure out how to incorporate skills that they have and maybe starting their own business or starting a new career. So just being able to empower girls and women and their walk in life, and being positive
Mhm.
enforcement, and that's where I am. And of course, growing our partnerships so that we can expose women and girls in our program to everything that's out there that we feel that they need in their tool belt
Yeah.
in order to be successful in life.
Great. Okay. Well, I know you're going to be quite successful in this role. I mean, you clearly, from, getting involved a few short years ago to now, being at the realm of leadership in the organization, I'm confident that you are definitely going to do well. Now, we didn't get a chance to talk about, I know one of your greatest titles is that of being a mom. And we didn't get a chance to talk about that. So, since we didn't get a chance to talk about that, you've got to promise to come back on.
Sure.
Because I would love for you to share, just with your experiences being a mom manager and, managing your son who is involved in the entertainment industry. Maybe you can give those of us out there who may have children that we want to, get involved, give us some pointers and kind of talk about that. So do you promise to come back?
I absolutely promise to come back. I would love to. And maybe if he's, feeling that he would like to be on camera that day, maybe we can bring him in for a little bit as well. But I absolutely would love to come back. This has been a wonderful experience.
Well, I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your day just to talk to us and tell us about I Am Beautiful. Again, if anyone is interested in signing their daughter up for the program, remember it begins September 20th. So, Jennifer, what is the deadline for parents to register? I don't think that we shared that information.
Right. And so we usually try to keep the link open to register for at least the first 2 weeks. We don't want the girls to come in too late and miss the program and everything that it has to offer, especially first 2 weeks. Is so important getting acclimated to it. So that link will probably close the first week in October, or the end of the first week. So start registering now. Again, registration is open, iambeautiful.org, and go to that programs page and you'll see our link, and sign someone, a beautiful girl up, of your beautiful daughter, your beautiful niece, your beautiful granddaughter, someone who could really benefit from this program.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say somebody may want to sponsor a girl too. So,
Absolutely.
even if it's a friend of the family or something, sponsor
Yes.
a girl, make a difference.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And to those of you in the listening audience, thank you for tuning in once again this week for Light It Up. Don't forget to like us on social media on Facebook and Instagram using the handle at LITE It Up Podcast. And of course, subscribe and follow the podcast. We do have a YouTube channel, LITE It Up Podcast. And just make sure you tune in next week to check out another interesting guest. So I want to leave you, as always, reminding you to continue to light it up and shine bright like a diamond. Thanks for joining me this week on Light It Up. Make sure you visit my website at www.lightituppodcast.com or www.aginahmuhammad.com. You can also find me on social media using the handle at LITE It Up Podcasts. If you like what you've heard, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, I'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or you can simply tell a friend about the show. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday for a new episode. Until next time, light it up and shine bright like a diamond.